Okay, so yeah, we're back. Art collection interviews. This is episode 3, and I got my guy Matthew Bridgeman on. He does events, faded, R&B slow jams. Manages Axel as well, right? Yeah. So I really appreciate you for coming on because we've been trying to get it locked in for like a year or so.
Yeah,
so
it's been a minute.
It's good to get it locked down. So I kind of wanted to start from the beginning and just ask like, what area did you grow up in, like, and like kind of how do you think it shaped you in a way?
Round the corner from here, to be fair.
Okay,
West London. Yeah, so originally from West London. Born and raised. Pretty much moved out 4 years ago.
Okay.
So I've pretty much been in West London my entire life, other than going to uni.
Yeah.
And obviously traveling. I think last year we did like 3 months in Dubai. A couple of years before that I did 3 months in Barcelona, but I mean nothing dramatic. I actually went to quite posh schools, so I went to literally around the corner from where we are right now. I went to Cardinal Vaughan.
Okay.
So I think that was always an interesting experience because where it's all I knew, I don't think I realised until I was older that I had an experience that was unlike most other people that look like me, if that kind of makes sense. Like I'm going to a school where there was 120 kids in a year and there were 8 black kids.
Oh wow, okay, wow.
Yeah. I think I remember there were 12 when we started. Yeah. When we left there were 8 and only 4 people got expelled.
Flipping on.
So if you do the math, 100%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, it was a really religious Roman Catholic school. Like the teachers wore gowns like in Hogwarts.
Okay, wow.
There was no playground.
Wow.
It's in Kensington. Everything next door to the school's worth like 14, 15, 20 million.
Crazy houses.
Yeah, so there's no room to have a playground. So whenever we had sports, we had to get on coaches, drive out to Richmond where the school had fields. It sounds mad, but it's just all I knew. Yeah. So, but I think the first thing from that kind of expanded my business or entrepreneurial mentality was because there was no playground, there was nothing to do during break time. Yeah. So I started selling sweets. Okay. At school. Because everyone's just eating or talking. That's it. That's the only options. It wasn't till I was in year 9 they introduced pat ball.
Okay.
Do you know when you hit a ball against a wall?
Oh yeah, no, that was my game as well.
That was the only sport that was allowed at break time, and that only got introduced when I was in year 9. Okay. And bear in mind, my school celebrated its 100th anniversary a couple of years ago. I went to the Royal Albert Hall for it. Okay. So it's been so I imagine everyone before us just never had any form of like activity during break time.
I would have gone crazy.
But yeah, so I used to go up to Shepherd's Bush Greens. Before there was a Westfields, there's still West 12 now. I don't know if you know it. It's at the shopping centre opposite Westfield.
Okay, yeah.
Go in there, go to Morrison's, buy Walker's Crisps, Coca-Colas, and Chewits. Okay. These are my main ones. And the American cookies. Do you remember you used to get 5 for £1? They still do them now. I think you get 4 for like £2 now. You used to get 5 for £1. Sorry about the cough. Yeah, no. We should sell each cookie for 50p to make my little money. And the Chewits was, I think it was 5 in a pack for £1, but it was buy one get one free. Okay. And I used to sell each pack for 40p. So I used to make £4 for every £1 I spent.
Okay, I see, yeah.
And that was it. I used to make like £200 a week selling sweets.
Wow.
Which it still sounds like for school, that sounds great. I mean, now when I think about £200, it's ridiculous, but adjust for inflation or whatever and whatnot. But
yeah, especially like back then, like stuff would have been cheaper as well.
So that was like the first kind of hustle I ever really had. And then started selling other stuff. Selling CDs and DVDs. Okay. So similar thing, obviously where it was a predominantly white school, there was still a relative interest in like hip hop and R&B and that kind of music. Yeah. I guess it was still becoming pop music at the time. I guess it would have been like Oxide Neutrino, So Solid Crew. That was still early school days. It was still them, and then like it started moving in towards like the 50 Cent era and Ja Rule era, whatever. So what I used to do was go Shepherd's Bush Market on weekends, go to the CD man. Used to be a black man that used to do CDs in Shepherd's Bush Market, and I'd buy whatever the new albums are. But then I'll go home, my CD copywriter, and just copy that album 10 or 20 times, and then sell it in school. So I buy it for £5 and then sell them for £5.
Flipping out, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Making back
so then sell it to anyone that wanted the album. Yeah. And same thing with DVDs. So then I'll go to the Chinaman. Yeah. So just learning how to do a little technology. You know what I mean? Once you know how to burn DVDs, and you just buy that big stack. Do you remember the big stack of CDs or DVDs?
So one of my best mate, he used to do that and like give out, well, for free for us, but give out CDs. Yeah.
So that was my hustle in school, and porn magazines.
Oh my days.
That was the other one. I mean, I was diversifying the portfolio. So yeah. Then
I mean, like teenagers, they're just about getting into that. So
that one
I'm
was
not
hot
surprised.
Property. That one was hot property. But funnily enough, the thing that got me in trouble was the sweets.
Okay, right.
Was the sweets.
they bypassed the porn magazine.
No, I don't think they caught the other stuff. I think everyone was a little bit too discreet with it.
Oh yeah.
But it was the most brazen, outgoing one. But I had obviously I don't know. I guess my friends from out of school were still kind of like on road. Not dramatically, but a little bit. So I had that mentality of having people shop for you. Yeah. So I think when I was, maybe I was year 8, year 9 by this time, but when I was in year 9, I remember I had a kid in year 10, a kid in year 8, and a kid in year 7. Yeah. So I would sell the sweets that I would buy enough for all of them.
Okay, I see.
Then I would give them some, they would sell it, and then obviously break off my piece. Do you know what I mean?
I was moving like,
because obviously I didn't know the year 7s.
Yeah.
So I had someone in year 7 shot into the year 7, someone in year 8 shot into the year 8.
Okay, I get you know.
Yeah, but
that's smart.
But yeah, so I never really. It's weird because it's only when I think about it now. Back then, that was just
you probably just thought it was normal, innit?
Yeah, it's the only way to make money. The only way I was able to get the money was the money my mum would give me to get a bus pass or a travel card. Yeah. I would go to school, give someone a £5, borrow theirs for the day. Yeah. Photocopy it. Yeah. I don't even know if you remember this, bro, but it never used to be an Oyster. You used to actually have a ticket. Okay. And you used to be able to flash the ticket and then go through the big barrier.
Okay,
the big
I see.
They still do it now, like if you got a pram or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Or like if you've got an actual train ticket, like when you're going to like Leeds or whatever, you have a physical ticket. Yeah. But so I would just do that, put it in my bus pass or and whatever. And then, so say I can't remember how much it cost. I think it was like £45 for the month. Yeah. So I'd keep that, pay the £5, keep the 40, and then use that to buy the sweets and stuff, and obviously just run around with a fake bus pass or travel card or whatever. And but yeah, that was my introduction to business, I guess. And then I started a clothing line. That's how I met TAZE.
Oh, okay.
So that's how me and TAZE. I started a clothing line when I was maybe about 15 years old. Called Culprit Clothing. It was terrible. It was just logos and this and that stuff, vinyl printed on t-shirts and hoodies, and eventually it got into screen pressing and whatnot. Okay. A little bit of embroidery. I did some hats. I learned to sew though. Oh, sick. I took it seriously. I actually learned to sew. Bought a sewing machine. Did all the labels myself and stuff like that. But it wasn't anything I'd be like proud of. I'm proud of the research I took into it, but I didn't make any. Was like the foundation designs
for like the stuff you went on to do.
Yeah.
As well.
So I used to do that, and what used to happen, like I said, a lot of my boys at that time were just on road, so they all wanted their tag name tatted on their, printed on their t-shirts. So that was my main income for that. So my thing was I would design whatever they wanted, vinyl print it on a t-shirt or hoodie, and do that for them. And then there used to be a shop in Shepherd's Bush called Global Sports. Everyone used to go there to get era hats. Used to be the thing back then.
Oh, new era hats.
So they used to have all the era hats, and they used to have all the trainers. They were like a not so much a kit game, because kit game is more of a reseller, but they used to do like the waviest trainers you couldn't get in London. Okay. And so they would import everything from the States. Okay. But then they also started doing like the graffiti on trainers and the diamantes on trainers. Okay, so I remember worked that era. There. That place used to be, but I used to get paid £25 a day.
Flipping out.
Bro, it was pennies. And then I'd get commission, which was like maybe £30, £40 if I was lucky. But still, it was like, it was nothing. Like, I'm sure it was illegal to pay someone that much.
Oh,
like, it was ridiculous. But they let me sell my clothes in there. Okay. So whenever some like unknowing mum will come in and be like, oh, I want to get something for my son, I'll be like, get this. This is the latest thing. Selling my clothes in the store and shit. So it was nice. But yeah, that was kind of my introduction to business. And what happened was, this is funny because I know I've just been talking non-stop right now, but I'm coming to a break.
No, it's good, isn't it? I like it. You're kind of like breaking down the journey to like where you were going, basically.
Yeah. So I had that clothing line, and TAZE had 4Ts. Funny enough, which I'm wearing right now. Okay. Obviously, he brought his back a year ago or something like that.
Okay, say it again. What's it called?
4Ts.
4Ts.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if he still goes with this, but it stands for True Talent Takes Time.
Okay.
But it's also all of his siblings. He had him and three brothers.
Okay. All T. Okay.
T
yeah, that's smart.
So, yeah. So TAZE had 40s, I had Culprit, and the guys that used to do all the events in our ends, which were what they call West Camp. I feel like they were called West Camp, but they used to do all like the under 18s parties and this and that, whatever. Okay. They wanted to make I'm an 80s baby, I'm a 90s baby t-shirt for their I'm an 80s baby party. Okay, so they got me and Taser together to try and make that for them. So we like collaborated on the design, made this t-shirt. And then they sold it kind of like merch at the event. Okay. And that's how me and Taser met.
Oh, 6.
And so it was kind of a brief meeting.
You said around like 15, 16?
Yeah, we're probably about 15, 16 years old. And we never really, we were aware of each other from that point onwards. But what happened was, and this is where I guess the story becomes more relevant. You were a Sunday show.
Sounds familiar.
So Sunday show, for those that know, that was it was an integral part of the journey for a lot of the people you're seeing in the scene right now. Okay. So that's where Axel started out. That's where Mo started out.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Like a bunch of used to be comedians, rappers. You'd have Gets down there, Lethal. Also, everyone passed through Sunday show at some point.
And was it in a certain particular venue?
It moved venues.
Okay,
It started in some place in, I think it was called Clerkenwell House. Then it moved to Slug and Lettuce. I can't remember the order. At one point it was at Stanza, then Sound. Sound is when it grew. That was big. That was like up to 800 people a week. Oh wow! And this was every Sunday. Wow! But it grew. So I came on board when it was but basically, when I started going there, Taser was going there, and that's where we reconnected. Okay. So it was run by Napa, literally the guy that from Powder. Oh, crack your skull.
Okay,
that Napa, and a guy called Marvin Harrison, who now runs Dope Black Dads, which is a massive podcast, massive.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it before.
So Marvin that runs that, and Napa, they used to run Sunday show, and I basically came up under Napa. Okay. Sorry, under Marvin, and Taser basically came up under Napa. And that's how we kind of reconnected. Okay. And that's where it kind of makes sense because we're in the world of events and. Yeah, the journey kind of starts all over again then. But you asked about the childhood part, so
you've literally answered my next question, and then the question after that is like, so yeah, from there, like around what age and when did Faded actually form? Then did that come much later or like around that time?
So basically, what happened was I got into events. I think my first event was a shamble. Complete and utter shambles. Just when I started uni, and my cousin convinced me to do an event with him. He had done an event.
And what uni was this?
I went Brunel.
Okay.
He went. Why am I forgetting where he went? It doesn't even matter where he went. But he went somewhere further out. He went Canterbury.
Oh, Canterbury.
One of those ones.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, he had thrown like a party in the ends just before everyone kind of. I say everyone went to uni. I think we were the only two people from Enzo went to uni. Before, I don't know, when people finished college or something, for a party, it worked. But it was in ends. Like, it was just local. Everyone came. Yeah. So he was like, I want to do another one. I want to do it with you. And we did it as like a Christmas party. So bear in mind, you start uni in like September. So it was essentially just after everyone coming to uni, he was like, yeah, you're going to know bare people from new coming in now, whatever,
makes
whatnot.
Sense, yeah.
So I'm out here, I have no idea what I'm doing, just thinking, it worked last time, it's going to work this time. It was a complete shambles. So I used my student loan to pay the deposits and pay the DJs and everything like that. And we ended up doing the event, and I swear maybe like 8 people came.
Oh man, flipping out.
Bro, I lost all my money, and I didn't have the courage to tell my mum I'd lost it. Yeah. I don't even know how I managed to get through uni without it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember what happened. I think I just ate beans for like the first 6 months
pot noodles.
Bro. Or them noodles.
Yeah.
Not even pot noodles. Pot noodles is premium, bro.
Indomie,
bro, that's the one. That's the one. So, but for some reason, I was still interested in events, even though my first experience in it was just terribly tainted. And I say to people, because so many people come to me for advice in events. Like, my inbox is filled with it. And I try and give it. More often. I mean, that's even how we started talking. Do you know what I mean?
That was going to be my next question, actually. Yeah. What advice would you give to upcoming promoters?
So many people come to me for advice in events. And one of the, there's so much I can give, but one of the main things I say is make sure you're getting into it for the right reason. Because I know a lot of people that wanted to do events, not been successful straight away, or maybe been successful and then not been successful the second time and stopped. Yeah. And I'm like, you have to make sure that you're in it for the right reason. Because like I said, my introduction to events was horrendous. But I lost money when I didn't have money. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's the first time I'd seen $1,000 in my life. And I lost it straight away. Like, it was mad. But I was still motivated to do events. So I started doing them at uni and I started my own society. So it's funny because you can't actually take the money out, but you can build money into the society, and you have to put on events to raise money for the society.
Okay, I see.
Sorry, this cough is killing me.
No, that's fair. Feel free to take a sip of the water as well.
Yeah. My first event was a poetry slam at university called Word Up. Had 14 poets. Whatever, just to show you like the journey, because everyone thinks of me as someone that does raves. I never did raves for like 2-3 years. All I did was poetry, live music, comedy. That's always been my foundation in events. Looking for talent, like me and Jamal Edwards, RIP, were like that back then. So obviously we're from ends, innit? So like that was mad. When I was in uni and whatnot.
Me and him was he just starting SB around those times?
He'd started SB, but obviously it was very early days. So I was rolling around with him holding the camera a lot of the time, or just here, there, whatever. Like there was a whole bunch of stuff. Like his first Puma shoot.
You used to film for him as well?
Hold the camera for him. I didn't know what I was doing, but do you know what I mean? It was very raw. Obviously, you can follow Jamal's journey and see it. Like it was so authentic. He didn't really know what he was doing, but he was just doing it. You know what I mean? But I think, like I said, the fact that of the people that we grew up with, no one else really had any aspirations. Like I said, like all Amanda and this and that from ends, me and my cousin were like the only two that even bothered to go uni. Everyone else was just just trying to do road, messing up, go in jail, this, that, whatever. So I think when he realized there was potential there, it wasn't that he was kind of turning up. He definitely wasn't turning away from the people on the roadside, because obviously that's who he was making most of the videos with. But in terms of walking into new rooms and stuff like that, I think for some reason, I think that's why he was rolling with me or something. I can't put my finger on it, but I'm blessed that I had the opportunity, because I got to see a lot and meet a lot of people early on because of it. But yeah, so I was just doing a lot of that kind of stuff, doing a lot of live music events, watching a lot of SPTV to find the new singers or this or that, whatever. I had Ed Sheeran at like my second ever event. Obviously it wasn't Ed Sheeran back then, do you know what I mean? Or even like, and it was, I remember I did like a rehearsal, I rented out a rehearsal studio and did like a promo video for the event. So I had like Ed Sheeran and a couple other artists. And I remember I was just feeding them Haribos and like Capri Sun. Do you know what I mean? But it was nice and it was fun, and obviously, and even Axel was part of that right then. He hosted it. So it was Ed, Axel, some guys called Scholar and Sticks.
Yeah, I remember them.
A couple other people in that rehearsal. There was, I can't remember his name now, but it's still on YouTube somewhere. But and it was fun. And then that brand ended up being called The Cozy Show. And that was like my first successful event.
Like
that.
See.
Because I basically did the stuff at uni and that all went well. But uni was easy because everyone was on campus. So it was just like whatever was on was going to be busy,
people
because
are gonna
it's
go.
the only thing that people have to go to.
That's true.
And it's easy to promote on uni because your entire target market is in a half a mile radius. You just walk up and down and hand out flyers, and that's what you have to do. Everyone lives there. Everyone's looking for something to do. They're all students. And it was like £4, £5 entry. And even when we started doing like club nights at uni, it was still walk to the local town or bus or everything was your entire target market was there. Whereas when I came off summer and went back to London, it was a lot harder because I'm promoting to people from north, east, south, all over the place, and I'm trying to get them to one central location. I remember my first event when I broke up from uni was really busy, whatever, whatnot. Second one was a little bit quiet, and by the third one I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I know how to find talent, I know how to put on a show, but I don't know how to promote.
That's key.
That's key,
that's key.
And obviously that's changed now. There was no Instagram, or there was barely Facebook back then. But promoting back then was getting outside, handing out flyers, talking to people, networking, basically talking people into coming to see stuff. So I basically stopped doing it. It was called Be Inspired. Stopped doing it, and then I started working at Sunday Show. And I was like, I'm gonna learn from these Napa and Marvin how to promote.
So what were you like? Was your role like a promoter at Sunday Shit?
Kinda. I mean, I kind of like ran the event. Like I was kind of like a runner or like the event manager for Sunday Show.
Yeah,
so that way they kind of got to sit back and just look cool, count the money. Whereas the running around and telling when to go next, and making sure that the act's on his way or is going to be there on time, or telling Mo he's got to do another 5 minutes because Gets is running late, or whatever it is, all that kind of stuff. Or coming up with ideas for the game show, sending out Facebook messages. But all of this, even though I was doing it for, bro, literally, I did it, I think, for the first 6 months for nothing.
Yeah, wow.
And then my mum was like, you can't keep going out here, this, that, whatever, having late nights every Sunday and not getting any money for it. So I think they started paying me like £20.
Okay.
Which, again, it's like it's a mad thing, but this is what I'm saying. When certain people are like, I want to do events, how much can you pay me? I'm like, bro, I did this shit for free for years. Years before I made money. So like I said, make sure you're getting into it for the right reasons. But then I think eventually it became £40, which again still was absolutely nothing, like pennies. But I learned from them. And then when I started Cozy, it was successful from the jump.
Because like, you already had the foundation.
I knew what I was doing. And we ran Cozy for about 4 years. And it was once a month on Tuesdays. And it was amazing, man. So much talent came through there. Like, it's hard for me to remember the names now, but like
you mentioned Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, like comedian-wise, everyone. Axel. Like, just everyone. Like, obviously I say Axel and Mo now because they're super relevant, but you've got like mainstream comics, like they're just all of them. Like literally just any name you want, they did it. They were there at some point in time. Same with music artists. It started getting to the point where labels would ask to put people on it. And come down and try and break artists there. And like Fleur East, I remember she became massive at one point and she had done the show. And yeah, man, it was dope. Even Americans, like I had Tony Woods, who's like,
I know Tony
Kevin Hart talks about him being like the guy that he looks up to.
When
he came over to the UK, he did the show. Had a couple other Americans come on and do it. And I don't even mean like Willie Robo is one of the greats, and he lives here. So I had him on a bunch of times. But I mean Americans that flew over to do like big shows, but then because they were just here on a Tuesday, they came down and did mine.
I see.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So it was a lot of fun. Didn't really make any real money, but for what I was doing at the time. And I remember I won quite a lot of grants. Because I was like 21 at 20. Man, I started Cozy at like 19. So I was like 19 to 21. So I won a bunch of grants, got some money. Nothing crazy, like 5-10 grand here and there, to reinvest back into the business and I went to some really cool things. Like we had a branded rug. We had some big banner. We used to have, we had it was sponsored by Krispy Kreme donuts.
I'm sure if I see the logo, I'll know it.
It's basically just the rolling laughing out loud emoji, like the sideways laughing emoji.
I see.
That was the COSY and the O was the emoji.
I see.
But yeah, branding wise, it was great, and I did that with a guy called Simo. I don't know if you've heard of him.
I don't think
he's a promoter now as well. Well, he's always been a promoter, but he's a really successful promoter. So me and him ran that together. And TAZE was always kind of like adjacent. So we even did like a 40s takeover off Cozy. And that's where like the foundation of our relationship kind of came from. We'd worked together before we did Faded, but never like in a concrete way. And then one day we were just like, we should do something together. And then it was like we're just bouncing around ideas. Then we're like, let's do a rave. And then one day we're on the phone to each other. I remember I was driving on a 846 North Circular. And the Drake song was on. And it wasn't even like, it wasn't called Faded, but he just said the word Faded in the middle of a verse. And I was like, yo, Faded, what do you think of that, TAZE? And he was like, yeah, I like that still. And then that's where the name came from. And then funnily enough, like, I think after we did the first or the second one,
so around how many years did it start?
We started Faded in March 2012. Because TAZE's birthday is March.
So literally like 10 years ago.
Basically launched it. This next March is 11-year anniversary. So we basically launched it as his birthday.
I see.
So like people are going to come out, it's his birthday kind of thing.
Smart idea.
It's odd actually because one of our DJs hit me up this week. And bro, we've been sending back and forth 10, 11-minute voice notes to each other. Like, I'm a voice note guy, but
Okay.
10-minute voice notes.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
Bruv,
like
it's
that's a mini podcast.
But he's literally been asking me for advice. All these, like I said, so many people call me and ask me for advice about events. So a lot of this is fresh in my mind because I've just been spewing it out to him.
Okay.
Because he's like, take me back to when you started. What were you doing?
Yeah.
Because you probably don't give those things credit anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you're just thinking about now. What do you do now?
Yeah.
But we used to do this thing where I don't know if you can even see it. We used to make people do this. You make an F.
Okay.
Throw up the F. So we did that before we launched Faded. We just get like we had Jamal do it. We had I can't remember. I'm trying to think who we got to do it. Like Cleo Soul. She's massive now.
So yeah.
Obviously she wasn't Cleo Soul back then.
Yeah.
We had Cleo do it.
Yeah, no, she's dope.
Yinka.
Yeah.
I think ZZ. But you got to bear in mind, this is 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah, so we wouldn't
all these
really
people were doing their thing back then. They just weren't big.
Yeah.
So we had all these people like throwing up their Fs. It'll be sick to find out who we got to do that back then.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be able to
when I
find
think about it, I
pictures.
was like, I wasn't thinking ZZ would be ZZ when we asked her to do that.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking Yinka would be Yinka.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking, do you know what I mean? I never thought Cleo, I mean, I thought Cleo was going to blow back then.
Yeah.
Because she had the song with, it was a dancehall artist. I can't remember. It was like a British dancehall artist.
Is it Stylo G?
Nah, not Stylo. It was the person that came before Stylo.
Okay, it's not a Doctor.
Nah, there was another one. It's gonna bug me. But yeah, she had a song with him that was popping, and I was like, yeah, she's gonna break. She's gonna break. 'Cause me and Cleo were mad tight back then. But I love to see her success now. Like last 2-3 years. Like I saw her sell out Coco the other day.
That's crazy.
That's mad, bro.
Yeah, because that's I don't know how many people that holds, but I know it's
1,700.
Oh, 1,700. Yeah.
That's one of my biggest achievements.
Yeah.
Today. I sold out Coco with my live band.
Okay, sick. Yeah, no, I feel like you've arrived as an artist or promoter when you can sell out Coco. Like
yeah. Anyway, I went off track, but yeah, we used to do all this kind of weird stuff. So we never had Facebook or Insta back then, but we had a Tumblr.
Okay.
So we just used to upload everything to the Tumblr.
Yeah.
Had everyone throwing up their Fs to kind of like
so
build
like
a buzz
branding,
for like what is this thing that everyone's throwing up Fs for. And then we did the first Faded without any real ambition to keep it going. Obviously, we kind of wished we could, but we just did the one.
Yeah.
Then after that, I was like, right, it was booming. The first one was lit. So then we did another one, and these were on Thursdays.
Okay.
We couldn't get a Friday or Saturday. So these were on Thursday. I think we were Thursdays for about a year and a half. I remember our 1 year anniversary was Ministry of Sound on a Tuesday.
Flipping out.
And we had
that's a techie one.
Bro. And the deal that we had, basically someone was like, I can get you Ministry of Sound.
Yeah.
So we'll do it as kind of like a collab.
Yeah.
But the deal is you lot only keep your physical ticket sales.
Flipping out.
No money on the door.
Mad.
Just physical ticket sales.
Mad.
There's not. Did we do? No online. So they printed us off like 800 tickets, physical tickets.
Yeah.
And me and TAZE were just out there linking people.
Yeah.
Going Westfield, drive around to people's houses, selling tickets here, there, everywhere. And we sold, I think, 800 or 1,000 physical tickets.
Serious?
We had like 1,300 people in Ministry of Sound on the Tuesday night.
You guys hit the paper hard, man.
Bro.
That's crazy.
It was mad.
Like most people can't even do that over like online. Yeah, online. Yeah.
But it was mad.
So how would you say like over like the last 10 years, like what would you say have been like the main like milestones? Would you say?
I remember there was 1 year where TAZE had a few of his boys that were going away somewhere, and they were like, "Yo, you rolling?" And bear in mind, for the most part, other than like obviously everyone kind of sees it now, and obviously TAZE's free shots and this and that, whatever. But our mid-20s, all we did was Faded.
Okay.
We didn't have other jobs.
Okay.
Like all we did was run
so
Faded.
that was like
that was our bread and butter.
Yeah.
So if Faded didn't make money, we didn't have money.
Okay.
And as much as Faded was successful, this was something we did once a month.
Yeah.
And we got to split that money after we pay people.
Yeah.
So it's not like we were making mad bread early on.
Yeah.
Like we were making good bread for an event, but not for a business, not for a living wage. You know what I mean? So then it was like, TAZE was basically like, he had to say no because he couldn't afford it.
Okay.
Then he was like, by next year, I want Faded to be taking us away.
Okay.
So then that's where we kind of got into the mindset of, let's start approaching people. Let's start hitting people up saying, even on a commission basis, we want to be part of this festival.
Yeah.
We're not asking you to pay us,
but
if we can get a commission for every ticket we sell,
Yeah.
and then if we hit this amount, you take us over and pay for us to and let one of our DJs play a set or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's how we got into Oh My, Fresh Island, Festival.
Okay.
We basically had we were like on lineups with like Chris Brown and French Montana and Migos.
Okay, so basically your like main DJs would go out there to play.
Yeah, we go out with them, and then we'd bring normally Shorty Bless, because that was our guy. Like I've known Shorty for like 16 years now, and I think TAZE's known him for longer.
Okay.
So as much as he's a faded DJ, he's been there with us the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time,
literally, he played at the first ever faded. Most of the DJs that played at the first ever faded still play for faded today. Do you know what I mean?
So you're still locked in.
Yeah. So